وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Last week we introduced a book titled The Collapse of Parenting. Now the title is a warning by itself that parenting as we know it, where a father and a mother look after their children, introduce their ideals, raise them, advise them, make them good citizens, is that system, the book is saying, is collapsing. And that should raise worries among parents and children at the same time. But the author, Leonard Sachs, made 27 recommendations to stop that collapse and perhaps reverse the trend. And since we are talking about challenges, and because I mentioned towards the beginning that one of the biggest challenges of young people, whether they are living in the West or the East, wherever they are, is staying within the family. You know, the family itself is challenged. There are things that are really attacking that system. People are claiming that a family with the traditional father, mother, and children is not necessarily what we really should accept, but there are different kinds, or perhaps some people claiming that we don't need a family, okay, and that we can exist by ourselves. This is dangerous. This is really, and I'm not saying it because of my value system called Al-Islam, but I'm saying it because there are many others who are humanists, who are atheists, who are of different faith traditions, who are afraid of that possibility that the family will collapse. So the first, now, oh, there's an envelope here. Oh, I have a question. You know what's in here? Do you know what's in here? No. You don't know what's here?
I think I do.
Come on. Were you here last night? You don't remember when I talked about that bald man? You don't remember?
Popeyes?
Yeah.
Popeyes.
Popeye's bald? I think after today he's not going to come to the, and now he's complaining to the chairman. He's saying, please, can you stop this person from abusing me? Yes, you're right, it's Popeyes. And I want to ask a question. Now, how many of you followed what we talked about last week? How many really were into it and still remember what we talked about? Good, nobody. Good, excellent, mashallah. Okay, that's very encouraging. I'll repeat the question again. How many of you still remember what we talked about last week? You do? You do? You remember? How many still remember? And I'm talking young people, I'm not going to use the word. Mashallah, 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 mashallah. Okay, you still remember? What about you? You remember, both of you? Okay, I'm going to ask a question. Either one of you can answer. I don't like that noise because this is in my pocket, so I'm going to put it here hoping that it'll be better. You remember the name Leonard Sachs, who wrote the book? And he made 27 recommendations. What's recommendation number 1? What did he say? I think Hassan wants to go to Popeyes. See, we want to give it to a young lady.
Yes.
Would you?
Here she is.
Yeah, a young lady. Did someone tell you right now? Because I see a smile on your face. Did someone tell you? Yes, mashallah. Because you are honest, before I even asked the question, come and take this, because you're honest, you said yes. Wait a minute. Who was that person? I knew it. I knew it. But let's see if she's right. You will get this, by the way. You will get it, okay? Let's see if she's right. What was his first recommendation? Mother language? Why not father language? What's mother language? Why not father language? You see, all those men are so upset now. You said mother. What about, what's a mother language? What's a father language? And would you like to answer? I know, because she cannot tell you from there. Take this. It's $25. No, it says free here. Okay, but can you say thank you to Muhammad? Can you say thank you? Okay, he said you're welcome. Okay, now you can sit now. Now I'll give one more today and that's it. If someone can explain to me in good detail what's your name? Ariba. Okay, what did Ariba mean? She just said 2 words. I didn't understand anything she said, but she still got the coupon because she's honest. MashaAllah. If you can explain in detail what she meant, you will get a coupon. But in detail. Like a kind of detail that if you don't answer in detail, you have to give me $20. You put your hand down. You're not ready to give me $20. So who will explain in detail? Otherwise, he or she will give me $20. You're confident. You will explain in detail. Come here. What's your name? Muhammad, mashallah. Half of the people in the room are called Muhammad. Okay, Muhammad. Okay, stand beside me. Okay. And speak into this space here. And tell everybody, what did she mean by mother language?
The mother's native language.
Where?
Like where she's from. Where she's from. Like now everyone's in this area. It's better to speak native language, like so there's a next generation of and we don't care.
Okay. What about father's language?
Or if you're from the same place, you're better. Or learning from one day over here.
Okay, let me say loud what you said so that everybody will hear you. Then we will ask Uncle Mir if he agrees that you answered everything properly. Uncle Mir, can you listen to me, please? Okay, he said that we should, at home, speak the language of the mother so that for the next generation, we will continue to know that language. Okay, and when I asked him about the father language, you know, with the innocence that he has, he said the same thing. If they are from the same place, then they speak the same language. If they are from 2 different places, then they have to speak both languages, okay, and learn their languages, right? What about Arabic? Which is the language of the Quran. If the parents prefer that. If they don't, if it's the choice of the parents. Okay. Okay, Uncle Mir, what do you say?
He is pretty much correct, except that the language, why we need to learn the language is so that the different generations can communicate to each other and understand each other, and the tradition can be inherited by it.
Yes, so we need to keep the languages going into the future. Otherwise, you know, they will disappear. And we had some people talk last week about, well, so what if we don't know the language of our parents? As long as we understand our Islam, that should be. What do you think? As long as we understand our Islam, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, he guesses so, that it's okay. Shall I give him the book? Yeah, I think I should. Give Hamad. Okay, tell me next week if you really like it. Okay? Can you say thank you to Uncle Ahmed? He said, Jazakallah khairan. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So in summary, the first recommendation is that we should. Kids, did you hear that? Okay. Now, how many of you can promise? If you can't promise, then don't promise. Okay. How many of you can promise that they will try to speak at home the language that their parents used to speak where they came from? Okay, let me, what does your father or mother speak? Egyptian, not Arabic. So it's see, Dr. Muhammad, what are you doing? You know, you people in Egypt are propagating, you know that. So Arabic. Okay. So it's that you will try to speak Arabic at home. What about you? Arabi, mashallah, mashallah. So you speak Arabic at home. What about you? Are we taking over? What's wrong? Okay. Anyone who speaks Urdu? Yeah. Will you speak Urdu? Okay, mashallah, yes, he said yes. You know what that means? He's proud. Mashallah. Uncle Ahmed, do you have lots of those books? Do you? I feel like giving him one, please.
I would.
Please, please, please. I can't help it. When he did that, I was so proud of you. Can you repeat that? What will you speak at home? You have to do this. What will you speak at home? No, I want to see your finger, not pointing like this. What will you speak at home? MashaAllah. That's it. MashaAllah, good for you. Okay. You share it with your dad, okay? Don't eat it by yourself. What about you? نعم؟
ياباني ولا عربي؟
Yabani? You speak Japanese? Can you say something? Come. Say something in Japanese. No, look at everybody. Okay, say something in Japanese. Oh, by the way, Uncle Mir knows Japanese. So if you were just saying something, he would say it's not right.
He's
Ohio. Ohio is the state of the United States. That's what Ohio is. What are you trying to say?
Hello, my name is Hadi.
Oh.
Ohio, watashi wa Hadi desu.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Okay, MashaAllah, that's very good. Now, so I encourage everybody to speak another language. So can I see a show of hands of those who will try to speak at home something other than English? Okay. Naji, put your hand down. I know you're not. Oh, okay. Okay, I thought, he's going to try to speak at that. Okay. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Can I see the hands up? Allah, that's the recommendation that we should. And how many, their parents do not speak as their mother. By the way, I have to explain that mother language has been a way to express that the native language, they call it mother language, as they call this earth, Mother Earth. Because you know why? When I will be talking, next, you will realize that mothers are 3 times more favored than fathers. Not that fathers are not important, but mothers really, we owe them 3 times as much care as we owe fathers, who even deserve, Muhammad, you owe me. Okay, so don't go now and say you said it. Okay, so we have to show lots of love and care for our fathers, but three times as much for our mothers. Okay, that's why we say mother language. Okay, now how many among those young kids, their parents do not speak Arabic, the language of the Quran, as their native language, but they will try to learn Arabic? How many? How many will learn Arabic? MashaAllah. Okay. I really am very proud of you, and I would like to recommend that you do. That's recommendation number one. Recommendation number two that Leonard Sachs made is that we should really extend our lives, our love, our care, our relationships, not only into our parents' lives, but into our grandparents as well. And he said that we should really, even if we can, we should have our grandparents come and live with us. That's what he said. Now, in order to show how, I said to shoot. Okay, in order to show how important grandparents are, I want all of you to turn your chairs. It's only 3.5 minutes, not very long, but I want you to turn and look at the screen here, inshallah, everybody, and we are going to turn off the light, okay? And everybody, I want you to watch. Sit down, please, have a seat, and look at this, and we will discuss it after it's finished. 3.5 minutes. Can you see, or you're okay? Can we make it larger?
Spilled food, noisy eating, mess.
Come on, Dad. Let's pull you over there, all right? Come on. Come on. There you go. Come on. There you go. I got you. I got you. Okay. Sit down. Okay. Buddy, what are you working on?
I'm making a little bowl for you and Mommy to eat your food out of when I grow up, just like Grandpa does now.
Hey, Dad. Would you come join us at the table?
was looking at your facial expressions as you were watching, and I wish that there was a camera who could capture those expressions, because what can I add to what you watched? I remember maybe 2 or 3 years ago, during a similar series, I talked about the wooden bowl, and I told that story, and now we found it on YouTube. So YouTube is not all bad as one may think, but the story here, as we know, 3 generations, and the way to describe what is happening is that being good to our parents is a story that we write so that our children can read it to us when we become old. Yes?
Kind of relates to the saying, and every come unto you to dance. Like whatever,
Beautiful.
so like whatever you do to people, it will happen to you.
Exactly. كما تدين تدان. That the same as you will behave, so will others behave with you when you become in their position, okay, or in a similar situation. Now, what we really saw is that the son, the young son, saw something, he learned it, and he was preparing for the future. When his father detected that this is the lesson he taught his son, he felt horrible. And this is where we really need to be very careful. Now, yesterday, I got another video clip on WhatsApp. I think my brother watched it, and it was too graphic that I said, oh no, I cannot show this during, the series. But I can describe that there are certain cultures who are required to pay an old age tax on behalf of their parents, or they have to get rid of those old age parents in whatever way they choose. You think this is it's horrible. And there were graphic images of how those people were getting rid of their old parents. Our Deen taught us that our parents, and look at this, young children, this is what I want you to remember. Even when you become 60, 70 years old, say that, 50 years ago, there was, an uncle at the Islamic Center who told us that fathers and mothers are a piece of paradise or Jannah that is walking on earth. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us in an authentic Sahih Hadith that your parents can be either your Jannah or the cause of you getting to the hellfire. You choose. You can make your parents your ticket to Jannah or your ticket to the hellfire, depending on how you treat them. Depending on how you look at your relationship with them. I want you to consider this. Look at this. And I want all of you to say, yes, this is what happened. Some of you who are really young may stop at a certain point in what I'm saying and say, I don't know, you're telling me about something I'm still not that old to understand. But look at this. Look at this. When you're a baby, your mother's lap is the whole world. And I may have to repeat some of the statements because I want you to absorb what I'm saying. When you're a baby still, you cannot crawl, you cannot walk. You just sit in your mommy's lap and you don't want to go to anyone else. Why? Because you are afraid to leave your world. The whole world is that lap. When you're 7 years old and you have been going to JK, when you come home or when you see your mother picking you up at school, just looking at her, you will feel secure. You will feel, I'm secure again, even though you were okay at JK, at the school. In the beginning, you don't want your son to cry. Very few kids don't cry when they part with their mom. But then, when you're 7 and she comes to pick you up or someone brings you to mama, I'm secure again. When you become 10 years old, look at this. Maybe some of you still relate to that. The side of your mama's dress, not dress. I saw you laughing. Stop laughing. Thank you, Maria. Okay. So the side of your mama's dress is your guide to go everywhere. You refuse to let go of the side of her dress. And she may say, okay, okay, but you continue to hold on because this is your mama. This is your mama. When you become 12, one moment, she's your best friend. Another moment, when you do something wrong, she may turn into an enemy. But look at this. When you are 12, you cannot go to bed and have a good night's sleep without her smiling in your face. When you become 14, you start to question what she is telling you, because now you are starting to detect your independence. You're 14. You think you know everything. When you become 16, she is too much. She's telling you things because she doesn't understand. And you start to feel that your world is something, her world is something else. When you become 18, you start to see your success through the glitter in her eyes and how happy she is. When you become 24, you start to feel that it's time to say goodbye. I really have to go, either a new job or I have to go to higher education. Now I'm a person, and you may come to visit, but you call every day because she's your mama. Okay, and I tell you something. You know, I know that when my children are away, always, even if they want to talk to me, they call mama first. They call mama first. And then they say, may I talk to Baba, please? You know why I'm talking about mama now? 3 times as much deserving of our care as Baba is. When you become 30 years old, you're not 30. So you'll say, what is he talking about, right? Okay, but believe me, I'm telling you what really happens. When you are 30 years old, okay, now you really have to balance between your wife, your husband, your children, and your mama and your baba. You know, you don't have all the time for them, and they need to understand And if they really say, you know, we'd like you to come for a brunch on Sunday, Mama, I can't. I really am too busy. I have to go shopping. But you know, I haven't seen you for a long time. I'm sorry, I can't. Why are you so insistent? You know, I'd see you. When you become 40 years old, you realize that you are getting into your life so much that your parents are now accessories. They are not the real thing. They are accessories. And when you become, you know, 50, 60, then your parents are really old and they are becoming dependent on your care. And, you know, if they really need to go to see the doctor, Mama, I'm too busy, can you call my sister? Can you call my brother? You know, I really have an important appointment, but there's nobody to drive me there. You know, can you take Uber? Can you take a taxi? You know, my life now becomes the center. And when they become really old and their mobility is limited, then they become a burden, because now, you know, I can't really go and look after those needs. It takes a daily interruption in my schedule. And I really cannot do it. And the question is, as we saw, you know, the story of the wooden bowl is that the grandfather used to live in his house with his wife. The wife died, so his son brought him to his house. The wife did not tolerate the, Parkinson's, okay, because in Parkinson's you start to shake, you start to really, and she demanded that she doesn't really need that kind of, annoyance, and you saw what happened. So this is what life in general is all about. But as Muslim children, I want to share with you something. Before I tell you that, I want to tell you a fact. Maybe the children may not realize it now, but I want to tell you nevertheless. And again, remember that old man when you become 60, 70 years old who told you this. Do you remember the first thing that I said I want you to remember when you... What did I say? I said you remember it in 50 years from now, you forgot. Who still remembers? You want another coupon, probably. Do you remember what I said that you should remember in 50 years from now? You do? What did I say? That was the first one. But I said something. Hassan, don't tell me you forgot. You forgot. Who still remembers? Hani.
Your parents are either the ticket to Jannah or somewhere.
Yes. Your parents are the ticket to Jannah or the ticket, because if you will do to them, if you will say, come on, I have my own life to live. Okay, why do you want me to do things the way you want? Life is so different now. Have you heard this before? Have you heard this before? You don't understand. You came from a country that doesn't have, what we have. Have you heard this before? You haven't. And inshallah you will not hear it. Because some people say to their parents, some people say to their, even by the way, I'll tell you this, but I want you now, number two, to remember in 50 years from now, that one parent can take care of 10 children. But 10 children may not be able to take care of one parent. Do you want me to repeat? One parent can take care of 10 children. But 10 children may not be able to take care of one parent because they keep tossing the responsibility. Why don't you ask him? Why don't you ask her? I'm busy, you know. Don't you understand? You know, I have other things to do. That's terrible. That is terrible. Okay, now there are 5 kinds of children, sons or daughters. And I want you, as I tell you those kinds, and these are Islamic kinds of children. Is everybody with me? Because I want someone as honest as you were to tell me after you hear this, honestly, which kind are you and which kind you would like to be. Honestly, would you like to hear the 5 kinds of children that Islam mentions? Is everybody with me? No? Yes? Okay. Number 1, a child who refuses to do what her or his parents ask her or him to do. Doesn't listen to them. Doesn't listen to them. Number 2. So you understood number 1? A child who refuses, always says, no. No. I don't want to. That's the first kind. Now, the second kind. He will do what his parents ask him or her to do, but he would do it while hating what they are asking or her to do. They will do it. But, okay, it's very upset, but we'll do it. Number 3. He will do what his parents or her parents ask her or him to do, but as he will do it, he will, okay, I'll do it, will say from as low as, why? Will do it, but will express his or her displeasure. Number 4, will do what his parents or her parents ask her or him to do with pleasure. And number 5, a person, a child, who will do what her or his parents wants her or him to do before they even ask. Before they even ask. Let me repeat now the 5 kinds. Number 1, will never do what the parents ask to be done. Will never do it. Number 2, will do it, but not happy to do it. Number 3, will do it, but he will show them, or she will show them, that they don't like what they were asked to do. Will tell them. Number 4, will do what is being asked of her or him to do with pleasure. And number 5, will do things to her or his parents before she or he is being at before. Okay. Who wants to be honest and tell me, yes, what kind are you? You're number 4. Okay. When your parents ask you to do something, you will do it with pleasure. Okay. Don't tell me you're number 5.
No,
You're not number 4.
it honestly depends on my mood and whatever I'm doing.
That's so true.
Haneen, you are very honest. It depends on your mood. Have you, wait a minute. Have you ever belonged to number 1? Where your parents ask you to do something, you will never do it? Yes. What about number 2? They will ask you to do something, you go and do it, but as you go, you don't like it. How about number 3? So basically, depending on the mood, you can belong to all 5 categories. But you say, have you ever done something before they even ask you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could belong to all 5 categories. Okay, anyone who would like to volunteer and answer? Yes. You are number 3. Ooh. So you will tell them that you don't like to do it. Oh, you almost made me. You're number 4. So you will do it with pleasure. You will be happy. So when they ask you to do something, you will do it sometimes. Is your mother here? Where is he? Where is he? Okay. Do you...
No, not him.
I know. Yeah, the handsome one. The handsome one, right? Not the one beside him. So is he telling the truth that he will do it sometimes? He's not answering.
Sometimes. He's 1 to 5. It depends on his mood.
Basically, it's depending on the
Yeah, it's like honey. Okay, depending on your mood. Okay? Yes. You're all of them. MashaAllah. You are honest. Depending on your mood.
That's a new thing today we learn. Depending on our mood.
Depending on our mood. Now I would like someone who's older. Old, because now I want someone to identify with parents with old age. Okay, so you can be all 5.
Not first 2. In
Not-
our culture, when we were growing up, we were not be like this.
This is out of question.
Listen, if they are in a bad mood, we were not allowed to leave that room. And we were not allowed to slam the door. No.
Yes.
First 2
Hundred.
out of
Okay, let me see how many of the ladies agree with that. That they were required to do the same thing. How many? How many? Okay, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 8.
Ladies are
8.
old.
8. How about those who say, what is she talking about? They couldn't relate to what she said. So it seems most of the ladies agree, okay, that, do you still remember what I said once? I know that you remember everything I said. Okay, that, do you remember that when my father would be present, I would not talk in his presence? Okay?
We were not used to sit
Yes,
No.
yes. What about now, men? Did you older men, okay, the same thing.
Okay. For me, it was always a competition between me and my brother, the closest one, father of Haneen, Ahmed.
Yes.
So he was always doing the thing before he had been asked to do it. And I was always between the 5
Was he
categories.
younger than you?
No, he was older.
Older than you?
By 3 years, yeah.
By 3 years?
Yeah.
Yes. So always,
Yeah.
the ones who are older, are better. See, I'm looking at my brother here. Okay. He likes the fact that he's better, but he didn't like the fact that I mentioned older. Anyway, Anyway, so now we heard that we could be, some could be all five, but you know something? I want now a take-home lesson to all of us. Are you ready to take home a lesson?
Yes.
Are you ready or you don't care? You care?
Yes.
Do you care?
Yes.
You care? You're such a good boy because I've been looking at you and you were looking and listening. You're such a good boy. What's your name? You're Amir. You know what Amir means? You're a prince. Right? Okay, mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. Is he your brother?
No.
He's not, but he looks
My
like
brother.
it.
He's our brother.
Mashallah, mashallah. So he's the son of the handsome man. Okay, so mashallah. Do you want to listen to this? And I want you to take home a lesson. So that, you know, we are coming here to take lessons, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you, listen, honey, because you said all five. Okay. If, and I just heard the, shh, no, wait, no, okay. Say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, because when we get into that laughing, it means shaitan is telling us now to break the rules. Okay, so you say, Ya Allah, help me against shaitan. Say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Yeah. Let's all of us say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Yeah. Which means, Ya Allah, help me against shaitan. Okay, because shaitan does, by the way, shaitan is not happy with what we are doing. He's not happy. He doesn't like it. He says, this will make my job, shaitan's job, more difficult. Because when we get closer to Allah, we are away from shaitan. And he doesn't like that. Because shaitan made a promise. He said, I'm going to get all people with me into the hellfire. And I'll do everything. That's what shaitan said. Do you want to be in the company of shaitan? No. No. Now, number one, not listening to what your parents ask you to do is totally prohibited in Islam. You cannot belong, I'm sorry, honey. I'm using your discourse, what you said as an example. Okay? Especially after, you know what you heard, what I heard from your uncle. Okay, that. Your father always would compete. Okay? So, you cannot say, I was in a bad mood. You can't. Did you hear this?
Yeah.
You cannot say, I was in a bad mood, Muhammad. I'm not talking to you, my son, okay, but I'm talking to, where's the other Muhammad? Okay. They say in Arabic, you know, I'm talking to my neighbor so that my daughter-in-law will get the message.
Even in Urdu, the same.
Even in Urdu. So I'm talking to Muhammad so that Muhammad will get the message. Okay? He's not even looking at me, he's looking at his phone. Okay? So get your phone out of your hand. Okay? Now, see what I'm talking about. Now, number one is out. You cannot just say, I was in a bad mood. Even if you say it in Japanese. You've got to always say, you know, Allah will be upset with me. And you know the word in Arabic that describes a person who doesn't listen to her or his parents? Can someone tell me the word? I know Dr. Muhammad knows it. Okay, but I need my brother's help or anyone's help to translate it because I still did not find the proper word in English to translate the word aq. Disobedient. Part of aq, yes, is disobedient. But aq is someone who is, I don't know. Yes. Disobedient, rebellious, disowning, that is getting closest to the meaning. So let's say disobedient disowning, rebellious. Anything else?
Rebellious.
Rebellious, yes.
Disrespectful.
Disrespectful, all of them. But art is more than that.
In Urdu, art means like, it's very common there in Pakistan that you say, I don't, this son or my daughter, they were really like disobedient, disrespectful. I disown this person from my inheritance.
The last one is not the same as disowning. Because no father or mother may disown a child. In Islam, it's not allowed.
It's not allowed. But it's
No matter what. No matter what. But let me say, disowning means, where is that blood connection? What happened to it? Okay? So, the first one is not allowed in Islam. Now, the second one, that person who does things but doesn't like it. You know what? Even if you do what your parents asked you to do, while you are not happy with it, you will not get rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will not get the reward. You did it. You did what they asked you to do. La yu'jar. Will not be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But she did it. What do you want from me? I did what my parents asked me to do. But you did it while disliking what they asked you to do. So you don't get rewarded. To be rewarded, I'll tell you what you need to do. Now, to do it and say, oof, you will be, receiving a dark spot in your record. Yu'zar al-ism, or al-wizr, meaning you will receive a bad credit from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you said oof, because the Quran in Surah Al-Isra, Surah number 17, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفْ. Even, in the Arabic language, the minimum is to say oof. Just expressing displeasure. That's the minimum. Even that, you're not allowed to, because if you will voice that, you will, the difference between 2 and 3 is that in 2, you don't say anything. You do it, but in your heart you don't like what they asked you to do. Can you get me a glass of water, please? I'm too tired. You didn't like it. You didn't like it. So getting the glass of water to your father, you didn't get reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you say, okay, you got a dark spot, even though you got the glass of water. Now, get me a glass of water, honey, with pleasure, Baba. Okay, so you go and get that glass of water, okay, you got a reward. And that, you will get a reward. You are ma'jur. Okay, now, if you, realize that your father has been talking for about an hour and he has a dry mouth, and you go and get him a bottle of water, and you hand it to him, and then this act, without me asking about it, especially if it's a cold bottle of water, then this will give Muhammad the description of waladun bar, which is the opposite of aaq. Bar, so disobedient, he said, this is obedient. Obedient. Anyone else? What's bar? Respectful. So it's just the opposite of aaq. You got it. Now. Now, I will go quickly through the list because I really, when I put it together, I liked it. So I want, but I may explain it in detail next time, which will be, I'll tell you when it will be. Anyway, this is what you are. These are pieces of advice, and I want you can go and listen to the YouTube and ask others to do it, and write as, you know, like Sister Sadia, like your Auntie Sadia, like my Sister Sadia. Okay, she's writing. She's jealous now, look at her.
I've always known.
And Auntie Ifat as well, and so why did he mention Sadia? Anyway, okay. Now, listen to this, and I will move quickly. If you are sitting with your parents talking about social media, and they have one opinion, and you start to debate with them to prove them wrong, then you know you have received a dark spot on your record. Some of you would say, come on, this is taking it way too far. You know, إيجاد الحجة على الوالدين عقوق. These are not my words. The name of the scholar or the tabi'i is Yazid ibn Abi Habib or Hubayb. He said that if you would search for a rebuttal to show your parents that their opinion is wrong, then you have gotten into the area of uquq, being aq. You shouldn't do that. You may, okay, later just tell them, okay, I heard such and such, and leave it there. Believe me, parents, and by the way, parents, let me tell you, don't now take it way too far. Say, see, you know, I'm going to always stick to my guns. No, please, parents, I'm talking to parents, please, when you know that you are wrong, you should say, I am wrong. As I say it a few times to my son and my daughters, and say, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, or I was wrong. Parents should be prepared to say that. But if, you know, the parents think they are right, children, leave the argument there. They will come back. If they don't, it's okay. Number two, Al-Hasan al-Basri was asked, if someone is doing, I'm gonna, you know, use Amr. Okay, if one day you decided to do voluntary fast, and your mother around 3 o'clock in the afternoon feared for you because you were looking so tired, voluntary fast, not in Ramadan, okay? And she said, Amr, I want you to break your fast. Al-Hasan al-Basri was asked, should Amr break his fast? He said, absolutely. And when he breaks his fast, because his mother asked him to do it, or his father, okay, he will get twofold reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first reward is for fasting, but he didn't finish the fast. Allah will give him the reward because he had the niyyah, and the second one is obedience to his father or mother. Anything more than that? This is how important parents are. Number three, okay, always, you know, try to understand the protocol, the needs, the requirements, the pleasures of your parents, and do it before they ask. You know, your father likes to drink, you know, orange juice with his poached eggs. go and get orange juice for your father and put it, said, I know that you like it. Hani and Marian. Okay. Always, try, your father likes, his bed to be prepared in such a way. Run and do it so that it will be a surprise that, who did that? Who did that? Maryam did it. Okay. It'll be beautiful. Now, how many live in large siblings family? Like you have 3 or 4. Okay. Now listen to this. Don't let shaitan. If you are really good and you know the needs of your parents and it's clear that you are the one who does it the most, don't let your parents hear it from you that, what about my sister such and such, what about my brother? Don't even let your heart tell you that I'm the best, okay? Because this in itself, Allah doesn't like it. On the contrary, as number 4 or 5, if your parents, feel, why can't such and such be like Maryam, for example, okay? You say to your parents, well, because she is busy with homework, with assignments, with this. You try to find an excuse, and you go and they try to instill in your, don't, like it. When your parents say, I think you like it, Maria, you just, I can see that. And when they say, Maryam, you're the best, you say, see, I told you I'm the best. Okay? So don't ever do that. Now, number 6. Many of you will not like that. If your parents hurt you with something, they said something that really hurt your feelings, you know what you should do? Just basically stay silent. I know that's not, but I can't. Okay? And believe me, show them you got upset. That's it. That's all you need to do. Wallahi, alladhi la ilaha illa hu. Most parents, wallahi, and I say wallahi, when they see that their children got upset because of something they imposed on them, parents will melt. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
That's all you have to do. Children, don't speak back. Just show them you got upset. That's all. That's all. Number 7. I said number 7 about, okay, number 8. Number 8, again, for those families where there's a large number of brothers and sisters. The worst, most painful thing that ever may happen to parents, listen, kids, listen. The most that may happen to parents and be painful is to see their children fighting with each other. Don't ever do this to your parents. Don't ever do this to your parents. If there's disagreement, go and resolve it without them even catching a glimpse of what is happening. Are you going to tell me something, Maria?
Yeah.
I think, okay. So try to resolve it before they know about it. Number 9, this is for older people. The worst thing in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is for parents to have a number of children and someone from outside the family is coming to drive them to the hospital or to take them to the masjid for Salat al-Jama'ah or to take them to buy groceries. They have 4, 5, 6 children. But it is someone else who is running in their affairs. Number 10. I want a promise. Number 10. Number 10. Number 10. Number 10. When you are sitting or standing or in the company of your parents, or they come to the room where you are and you are holding that thing that we talked about, your smartphone, put it aside. Don't continue on your phone while your parents is in the same physical area, because it really hurts them that you are busy with something else while they are close to you. You don't want that to happen. Number 11, it happens that sometimes kids' knowledge of deen or of anything in this life surpasses that of their parents. It happens all the time. I know someone who comes to his father and says, you know, I know chemistry much more than you used to do. Or do you know the physics that I can solve now? I know someone. No, he says it jokingly. No, I don't want to. Okay, but never come to your parents and tell them in a way that shows them that, what do you know? This is not how you make wudu. Or when you stand in line for Salat al-Jama'ah, this is not, you know, how you should really look in front of you, because your eyes should be right where your sujood is, and you should use akhlaq. Number 12. Number 12. If you are sitting and you tell them something and they heard it, then they tell you something about something else. Don't go back to what you were telling them, but continue to talk about things that they like to talk about. Don't talk about things that you want to talk about. Talk about things that they like to talk about. Number 13, some may misunderstand that, but I will quickly say it so that there will be no misunderstanding. You know, when you feel it in your heart that you are doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to do, you are praying, you are fasting, you are giving sadaqah, you are doing zakat, in front of people, you're not supposed to show off, because it's called, who knows it in Arabic? Yes, it's called in Arabic. In Arabic, what do we call if you show others what you are doing? You know, mashallah, when you are praying, you are doing this, and you feel that someone came to the masjid and all of a sudden you do this. That is called showing off. In Arabic, we call it riya. Riya. Okay, it's bad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned people, الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. That's bad. But you know what? Scholars say that if you start to go on this path of being close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are a good Muslim, let your parents see that. The best reward you can give them is for them to feel that you are on the right path. That's the most enjoyable thing to them. And if you want to make them feel happy, let them see you pray. But don't pretend. If you are genuinely praying, let them see that. It's okay. It's okay. Number 14, I might have mentioned it. if you have an argument with your brothers and sisters, you're not fighting, but you're arguing, okay, and it became heated, don't do it in front of them. Parents don't like their children to disagree. Number 15, and then there will be 16, and that's it. Number 15, when your parents reach old age, you have to know the following. Old people become impatient. Old people become insistent, which means they insist. They ask you, can I have a glass of water? After 5 seconds, can I have a glass of water? Do you still remember that video clip that we watched? You know, what is this? What is this? About the bird? The sparrow? What is this? They insist. They keep repeating. They are impatient. And they become frail. So make sure, if they reach that age, that you're good to them. That you believe in your heart that Allah loves you, because now He wants to give you rewards in abundance. Because when you take care of a parent who is dependent on you to the point that you have to carry them to go to the washroom, or to clean them, or to feed them, or to, then know that Allah loves you. Number 16, easy to say, but it requires a good, strong will. Can someone tell me what it is, and then I will finish, and then I will make an announcement, inshallah. It's easy to say, but it needs a strong will to do it. To do it all the time. What is it? Yes.
I love you.
I know that you say it all the time, because your mother started to smile because she knows that she hears it from you all the time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep her for you and keep you for her. Okay, but I had something else in mind. It's part of a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You love Popeyes, I can tell. Yeah, be honest. We have to be honest. We have to be honest. Yes, yes, yes. Yes! What do you call this? Dua! Dua! Had you not received a coupon last week, I would have given you one now. You can't take two in a year. Make dua for your parents. Ask Allah favors for your parents. Don't say they can make dua on their own for themselves. No, because you want your children, when you become old, to make dua for you. Even after our parents die, 3 things continue to benefit them. One of them is dua. Okay, now, the best parenting example that we ever witnessed in history, can someone tell me? I'm sorry, Ahmed, I have to give one. Okay, and Naji is saying yes, he agrees. Okay, the best parenting example ever, or first that appeared in history, was the example of you're not allowed, Maryam. No, someone told you. Someone told you. I saw someone telling you, no, you're not allowed to. Did someone tell you? Yes, yes. No, I want someone who plays basketball and is very good at it. Yes? What's his father's name? What's his father's name? Ibrahim. That's the best. Shall I give him the, by the way, we have a superstar in basketball. Okay.